Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Frugal Ify. So now that I'm back from Budapest, I wanted to share 17 frugal travel tips that I used on this trip that you may find useful. Okay, let's go. Okay, so tip number 1, book off-site airport parking and book early. Airport parking can be incredibly expensive, so I always use off-site parking such as purple parking, which I find to be very reputable and safe in the UK. In other countries, you may have other formal off-site parking. I recommend going and investigating that. For purple parking that I use, I can always find a 10 to 15% discount code, which makes the saving even more considerable, so definitely check that out. Tip number 2. Use cashback sites such as Top Cashback when booking accommodation. You can usually get cashback of about 4 to 11% depending on the platform that you're using. So you can book with booking.com, hotels.com, IHG Group, etc. through sites like Top Cashback. Definitely worth trying. Tip number 3. Weigh up the cost of lower cost accommodation versus transport. It may be significantly cheaper for you to stay outside of the main city centre and away from tourist attractions, but if it's going to cost you a lot of money to get around either using public transport, trains or taxis, you may want to get a little bit closer and walk more and use less public transport and save money that way. Tip number 4. Don't make the mistake I made recently when I was in Luxembourg. Always check if your hotel or accommodation has a free shuttle that you can use rather than spending money on public transport to get to your location. Tip number 5. Use Google Maps to map out the route to your accommodation before you fly. It will save you from getting to the airport and panicking that you don't know how to get there and then immediately jumping into a taxi. It will save you money with a little bit of pre-planning. Tip number 6. If you can, try and fly into smaller airports. It may mean that you have to take a longer bus, coach or train journey to get to your accommodation, but smaller airports are often cheaper than the bigger main airports. So again, you may get some savings on your flight. Tip number 7. Don't buy a city pass unless you know you're going to be visiting all of the attractions included in the deal. If you are going to be visiting a lot of attractions, please do calculate your costs of each individual attraction and work out if the city pass will actually give you a cost saving and if it gives you any other perks that you actually need. If it doesn't and it's going to cost you money, just leave it out. Tip number 8. Don't pay for jump on, jump off tour buses. I recommend either getting a bus, a tram or walking. You will see more, you'll have a better experience and you'll save money. Tip number 9. If you're going to be visiting any tourist attractions, I recommend pre-booking tickets online for cheaper prices and also you don't have to queue. Tip number 10. Don't eat near tourist attractions or in old towns if at all possible. You'll always find that the food is more expensive and to be honest, the quality will be lower. I recommend bringing a snack with you and letting that tide you over until you can get to a less obvious area. As a bonus, if you're going to be doing a walking tour, definitely ask your guide for recommendations for restaurants that the locals go to. They will always be cheaper and they will always be more authentic. Tip number 11. Research restaurants and check the cost of the menu before you sit down to make sure that it actually fits into your budget. While my friend and I were in Budapest, we accidentally ended up at a Michelin-starred restaurant. Fortunately for us, the Michelin star did not come with London pricing, so we got away with it, but it was a mistake that I will not be making again, so please listen to this point because it can catch you out. Tip number 12, don't buy mini toiletries. Instead, decant your home products into small travel bottles, but if you can't do that, the next best thing would be to buy the cheapest full-size products you can find at the airport after you get through security, obviously, and then share them with a travel buddy. That way, there won't be as much waste and you're not both having to spend money for the same product. Tip number 13, check the airline's baggage policy before you book your flight. Flying home from Budapest, I flew with Wizz Air and it turned out that at least a third of the people on my flight home Did not realise that Wizz Air had a one bag policy unless you had a priority ticket, and the priority ticket cost an extra £5. I actually didn't have a priority ticket, but fortunately for me, my carry-on bag was so small that I wasn't penalised. But that 1/3 of my flight, all the people ended up paying an extra €25 when they got to the airport to have their second bag put on the flight, which I would have been spitting nails if I'd been caught out like that. So definitely check, very important. Tip number 14, beware of souvenirs. Don't buy fridge magnets and key rings and trinkety little things. We're moving towards a minimalist lifestyle to save money. Instead, just take your pictures and bring your memories home. Best way to go about it. Tip number 15, if you're from the UK and you're going to be traveling outside of Europe, get a SIM card and or an internet dongle from your destination to save you on roaming charges and calls. Tip number 16, if you do have to take a taxi, you can save money by either taking your taxi halfway to your destination or until the meter has capped at your budget. You can then get out of the taxi and walk safely to your destination if that's possible. Safety is key, so if it's not possible for you to cut your taxi journey short because the area is not conducive to staying alive, please don't follow this tip. Tip number 17, take a reusable water bottle with you. Drink tap water if it's safe, and if it's not safe, boil or treat water instead. Okay guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. Drop down in the comments and let me know any more travel hacks that you have that I may have missed. And please do subscribe. Okay, until next time, thanks. Bye.